everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Baking with Becca. Do you happen to have disgusting old brown bananas like this in your freezer from when they went bad 4 months ago? Same. I think it's totally normal. At least it was in my household growing up. We would always just have these put in the freezer when they went a little bad, and then we would wait until the day where we were ready to make them into delicious banana bread. So me, my mom, and my sisters and I would make banana bread, which is a quick bread. And it's simply called a quick bread because it rises quickly due to a chemical leavening agent such as baking powder or baking soda rather than a yeast or a sourdough starter, which takes a little longer. So banana bread is made specifically with old overripe bananas because they have a sweeter flavor because they're overripened fruit, and they have a more fragrant flavor, which is perfect for making any type of baked good. You always want to have flavor, right? Yeah. So go grab those frozen trash bananas and let's turn them into treasure.
Here's the list of ingredients you'll need to make this banana bread recipe. To begin this recipe, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then grab your baking pan and we'll get it ready to bake. Grab a nonstick spray and coat the whole pan. Then pour in a little bit of flour and swirl it around so that it gets all over the edges and up the sides as well. Then just dump out the excess flour. I always do this step before combining my ingredients so that the pan is ready to go exactly when I need it and I'm not scrambling at the end. Set your prepared pan to the side and we'll move on to combining our ingredients. Grab a large mixing bowl and we'll start to combine our dry ingredients. You'll need 2 cups of flour, 1½ cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Stir that together using a whisk and set it aside until we're ready to add our wet ingredients later. Now we're on to our wet ingredients for the recipe. Grab a medium-sized mixing bowl and add in your thawed, room temperature bananas. This part is a little bit gross, but bear with me, it's totally worth it in the end. After you add the bananas, go ahead and mix them until they're totally and completely mashed. I like to use a hand mixer for this part because the beaters of a hand mixer actually take out those little fibers of a banana, then it ends up making a smoother bread in the end. See? Now this won't end up in our bread. Now we're on to adding the rest of our wet ingredients. Crack in 2 eggs, 1/2 cup melted butter cooled to room temperature, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. After cleaning the banana fibers off of your beaters, go ahead and use your mixer to combine these ingredients. Then add in 1/2 cup room temperature buttermilk and beat one more time until fully combined. Now we can add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. Simply take your wet ingredients and dump the contents into the dry ingredient bowl. Use a spatula so you can get all of it in there. Then we'll take our hand mixer one more time and begin to mix. I always start without the power turned on just to gently nudge everything around and get it started. Then you can turn the power on and mix until just combined. Don't forget to scrape down the side of your bowl. And at this point, you can always add in maybe a cup of chocolate chips or a cup of nuts, or maybe 1/2 cup of each if you want to mix it up. I like mine plain, so we'll just stick with this for now. You don't want to overmix a quick bread batter as it will yield a tougher bread in the end, so be careful not to overmix in this step. After you're done mixing, grab the pan that we set aside from earlier and add your batter in. Then we're going into that preheated oven for 45 to 60 minutes. Now I know that's a big time gap, but it has to be big just in case people's ovens vary. So check it at the 45-minute mark with a toothpick and see if it comes out with some batter on it still or if it comes out dry. Check it incrementally from there on up to the 60-minute mark. It may even need more, it just depends on the oven, so keep an eye on it. When it's done, you'll have a clean toothpick that comes out and you can get it onto a cooling rack. Cool it on the rack for 5 minutes. And use a butter knife to scrape the sides of the pan to make sure it doesn't stick, and turn it out onto the cooling rack for another 5 minutes.
letting it cool for just a few minutes more out on the cooling rack, I'm going to cut into it because I can never wait for it to actually cool before eating. So I'm going to slice into it now. And my favorite way to enjoy it is just with a bit of butter. So I'm going to take some butter. Don't judge me. I'm from Minnesota. Smells so good. All right, let's go ahead and take a try. It's so good. Baking it loaf style gives it this lovely golden brown crust. That's the perfect crunchiness. It's so good. Perfect banana flavor. The cinnamon just adds a little bit of warmth to it, so it makes it perfect for breakfast time and really just any time of day for snacks. And I'll leave you to it. Go get to baking. Enjoy.